Hello, my name is Aaron Johnson. I'm a senior developer at GlideFast Consulting, and today we're going to go through building a custom application on the ServiceNow platform. So, the application that we're going to build is an application dear to my heart called ChoresZero. It's a household application for assigning chores to household members. It's going to be a simple task-driven application, and we're going to build this application in several revisions. This is going to be the first video out of a series where we start off the application and build upon its capabilities. So initially, like I said, it's going to be a simple task-driven application where we'll have simple categorizations of tasks that need to be done, such as empty the dishwasher, vacuum, take out the trash, mow the lawn, etc. Initially, those tasks will be manually assigned to household members. And because we don't want to use email for this purpose, but everybody has iPhones, we're going to set up push notifications to notify family members of new chores. Future revisions of the application will start to get more advanced. We'll do some automatic assignment based on the chore type and the schedule. We'll do some integrations with third-party systems such as Sonos or SmartThings, integrating with light bulbs and things of that nature. So we'll go ahead and get started. So now we're in the ServiceNow platform. This is my personal developer instance, and we'll get started building an application. So on our navigator, we're going to go into the studio. For those of you who have not used it, this is an IDE within the ServiceNow application, or within the platform itself. And we'll go ahead and create an application. This is a sample one that I built before. We're going to go ahead and create a new one by choosing Create Application. And we have several different options here. We have Start from Scratch, where you're basically starting from a completely blank slate. We can build a custom application built based on a template that ServiceNow has already set up for us, or start from a service. We're going to start from scratch. I have used the Create Custom application in the past. It's a little more than what we need for this simple application, so we're just going to start brand new. I'm clicking Create. We're going to go ahead and name it ChoresZero. So this is our name, and this is the application scope that ServiceNow has provided for us. All right, so it's gone ahead and created it.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay, the very first thing that we're going to do is create a new application file. This is going to be our basic table to store the chores. So I'm going to choose Create Application File, and we're going to choose Table. We're going to go ahead and give it a name, or we're going to give it a label, and it'll give it a name. So we're just going to call it Chores. And again, it just automatically gives it the application scope name and the application name plus the name of our table here. In this case, we're going to extend the out-of-the-box system table called Task. We're going to go ahead and allow that to create a module. And there's its module name, Chores, same as the table name. We'll go ahead and save that. So you'll notice that I'm right-clicking on the header, and I'm actually choosing Save. I could hit Submit. I prefer to use Save because it keeps us on the same page. Okay, you can see down at the bottom, if you're familiar with ServiceNow, that it has imported all of the fields that exist in that basic task table. And for the most part, this is really all we need. The only thing we might want to add, because I don't see it here, is a category. And we may add some other fields later. Well, let's go ahead and add a category field. This is going to be a string, and we'll go ahead and just click OK. We'll go ahead and save that. And here's our new category field. So now I'm going to go ahead and click into that field. And actually, I've changed my mind. We are going to make this a choice list. So I'm going to change the type to choice. Go ahead and save that again. And now we need to give this item some different values, some different choices, or different chores in this case. So I'm clicking on the Choices tab here down at the bottom. I'll insert a new row. Let's call our first category Empty Dishwasher. And we'll create another called Vacuum Living Room. And another one called Take Out Trash. And we'll create one more for now called Do the Laundry. Alright, so we have some basic categories, and we'll probably add on to that as we build this application out. But these are some of the various things that need to be done around my house, and probably some of yours as well. So now what I want to do is I want to see the form for this. So I'm going to go back up here to Create Application File, and I'm going to choose Forms in UI, and I'm going to choose Form, and I'm going to go ahead and type in chores. Whoop. There we go. You'll see we've got the My Tables already listed here, so chores is right there. Go ahead and click Create. Now by default, this has inherited the form from the task table, so we're going to change this around a little bit. We don't need all of these things. So we're going to go ahead and remove configuration item. That doesn't really apply here. We'll leave priority for now. We'll leave state. We're going to remove parent. We don't have a parent record. We'll keep a short description, and we don't need a long description, so we'll remove that for now. But we'll keep work notes. And let's see. Let's go ahead and add our new category field as well. So here it is over on the left. I'm just going to click on it and drag it over. I'm going to drag it right to the top of this list and let it go. And click Save. So now we have our basic form. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, shall we? So if I go back to my chores table, and I'll go ahead and click on Show Form. There's our basic form. So it's assigned it a task number. We're going to change this in a second to something more specific to this table. Here's our categories. Well, it didn't actually import all these, so we'll have to take a look at that. We have an active flag. We're going to go ahead and remove that. We'll keep our state, but the active gets set by the state, so we'll go ahead and remove the active field. So let's go ahead and do that. And save it. Now let's take a look and see why our list of categories are not showing up. So the other way to get to the values that we had set before is to right click on the field, and we're actually going to do configure choices. And for some reason they're not showing up there. So we may have to redo that. Let's go back to our chores table, and we'll go ahead and click into the category field again. Well, here's all of our items, but they're not showing up. It's possible they're not showing up because there's no value associated with them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy these one at a time to the value field. And all I'm doing is highlighting it, and I'm on a Windows PC, so I'm hitting Control-C to copy it, and then Control-V to paste it into the other field. For those of you not familiar with ServiceNow already, I'm just double tapping into the value field on the list to allow me to edit it. And you'll notice there's also the sequence field. We didn't set this before, but if we wanted to order these differently, we certainly could do that. So let's go ahead and just give these all a sequence. So we'll just put them in alphabetical order. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's see if that fixed our issue. So I'll go back to the chores table, and again we'll choose show form. And now we've got our categories. Perfect. Okay, so the next part of this is we need to be able to do a couple things. One, let's go ahead and change the numbering scheme on this. And then the second piece is we'll go ahead and give us a way to assign this to a particular household member. All right, so let's tackle our number field first. So we'll go back to the table itself. I'm just going to hit the back button. That'll bring us back into the table. And I'm going to click on the Controls tab within the table, and I'll choose Auto Number. And you can see it's already given us a prefix. So I'm going to change that to CZ for ChoresZero. And we'll go ahead and save that. And again, we'll choose Show Form. And you can see now it is numbering these CZ, which is what we wanted. So the next step is assigning these. So for that, let's go ahead and go back to our table. And go to the Assign To column in the table. So because this is inheriting this field from the base task table, if we want to make any changes to it, we need to set up what's called a dictionary override. So by default, this is pulling from the user table in ServiceNow, which is what we want, and it's also using this roles equals ITIL. So we're probably going to set up a new reference qualifier where we set up a role specifically for this application. So why don't we do that first? We'll go ahead and create a new role. Actually, the system does that for us, so we don't even have to create a new one. Over on the left-hand side of our studio, we see this new role here. So all we have to do is set up a reference qualifier to that field. And for those of you not familiar, what a reference qualifier does is basically narrow down the list of available options in a reference field. So reference fields are any fields that have a magnifying glass on them that are actually pointing to another table within the system, such as the user table in our case, the groups table, companies, etc. In this case, it limits the users to just those that have the ITIL role. We want to do something similar, but we just want those with the chores user role. All right, so we're going to go back to our table here, and we'll click into the Assign To. Here is our Assign To column, so we'll click back into that, and then we're going to set up a dictionary override. And the dictionary override allows us to override several attributes about it, one of them being the reference qualifier. You can also set up default values for a given field. You can override that. You can override several things about the field. So we'll go ahead and click Dictionary Overrides. We'll choose New. By default, it brings in our table here. We're going to override the reference qualifier. And we're going to say roles equal, and then the role that the system created for us. I'll go ahead and submit. So now if we come back over to our table and we'll do show form one more time, we should get no users here at all because no users meet that criteria. So now what we'll do, we have to jump out of the studio, but we'll actually go ahead and create a couple user accounts and assign them this role. Okay, so now I'm back in the normal interface for ServiceNow. I'm going to go to the users table. Actually, before that, I'm going to create a group just to make it simpler. I actually created this ChoresZero application once before, so we have an assignment group named that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use that. We're going to go ahead and assign our role from our new application to this group. So I'm just pasting it in there. We'll go ahead and select it. And now anyone that's assigned to this particular group will also get assigned the ChoresZero role. I'm going to go ahead and change the time zone since we're in here. Oh, this is actually a custom field that I set up for another project. So this does not exist in an out-of-the-box ServiceNow instance. We're going to go ahead and leave that one alone. So we've gone ahead and created our group. Let's go ahead and create a couple of users. Here's me, Aaron. I'm going to go ahead and give myself that group. And you'll notice I get a message right at the top stating that the role for ChoresZero was actually added to my account. And that just happens because I'm in that group. So now if we click on the Roles tab within my user account, you'll see at the bottom of the list that role. So now if we jump back over to our other window with the studio and we choose Assign To, we should at least see me. And there we do. So let's go ahead and add a couple more people. So we're switching back over to the normal interface. And we'll go ahead and create a couple new users. And we'll just call the first one Mom. We'll go ahead and save that. And we'll go ahead and put Mom in the Chores group. And again, it's going ahead and giving her that role. And let's go ahead and add a couple more people as well. We'll do Son. Actually, we'll call him Sammy. Sammy Jones. We'll go ahead and right-click on the header and choose Insert and Stay because I don't want to modify Mom's account. And again, I'll go ahead and actually I'll do something different here. So we added Sammy. Let's add Sally. Again, I'm choosing Insert and Stay from the context menu at the top. And now I'll show you a different way of adding the group membership. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Groups from System Security on the Navigator. And we'll go ahead and click on our ChoresZero assignment group here. We've got me and we've got Mom listed. So now we're going to choose Edit. And we'll choose Sammy. choose Sally. All right, now if we go back over to our studio and we click the Assign To, we get the list of all the people that have been added to that particular role. And for this application, since this would be designed to be used in one household, we don't really need any more setup than that. We don't need groups in this case. We do have a group just to organize everybody, but we don't have different chores groups. We have a few things to do to finish up our application. One of them is going to be adjusting the ACLs so our user account can access the proper fields. So let's go ahead and do that first. I'm going to go ahead and select the existing access control right rule for the table, for our chores table. And I'm going to go ahead and, well, assign to is one of the fields we want to adjust. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and choose Insert with Roles. Hit Continue. Now the reason I'm doing this is Assign To is inherited from the task table. And because the task table has certain rules about the Assign To field and other fields, we need to override it specifically for our chores table. So I'm going to do the same thing with the work notes field. Right click again and choose Insert with Roles. Then we're going to choose the state field. Same thing. Okay, and last but not least, let's do the short description. So again, the reason I'm doing this with these particular fields is that those are inherited from the task table, and we need to override the rules set at the task table level. Okay, next we want to adjust some of the mandatory nature on our fields. So I'm going to select our chores table. And let's start with the Assign To, so we want to make that mandatory. Now again, since that's inherited from the task table, we need to utilize a dictionary override. In this case, we've actually already set one up, so we're just going to adjust that. So I'm clicking on Dictionary Overrides, and then our ChoresZero chores table. I'm going to choose Override Mandatory, and then set it to Mandatory. Save that. And the reason we don't do that directly at the field itself is, at the table level, is that it would override it for any task tables. So incident, change, problem, anything that is inherited from the task table. So that's why we use a dictionary override. So let's go ahead and go back to our, oops, I closed one too many. Let's go back to our chores table. And we'll go into our category field. And now since that's directly on our table, we can just set it to mandatory directly there without using a dictionary override. Okay, those two are now all set, and we are ready to take a look at the notifications. So the notifications themselves, for push notifications anyway, are not within the studio currently. Just email related notifications are. So we're going to switch to the normal client to do that. Okay, we've switched back over to our normal client here, and we'll go into push notifications. So push notifications are actually made up of several pieces. The lowest level is push message content. That's a JSON string that defines how the button should, or excuse me, how the message should behave on the device. Next is the actual message. This is the content of the message. And last but not least is the push notification itself, and this is more similar to the existing notifications for email. So let's start with our push message. Excuse me. Go ahead and create a new one. Give it a name, chore assignment. We're going to select the ServiceNow mobile app. There we go. Select our chores table. This is that content that I was mentioning, so we're going to select generic record payload and then our actual message. So our message is going to be chore number in curly braces. So that represents our field. So $, open curly brace, field name, close curly brace represents our field. Put a dash in there, and then we'll add our category. So same thing. Our category field, and then we'll say has been assigned to you. Go ahead and submit that. And now we'll go ahead and define the notification. So we define the body of the message. Now we actually need to go ahead and define when it's going to send and who it's going to send to. So go ahead and create a new notification. Go ahead and put in our name, chore assignment, choose our chores table. We'll go ahead and choose on the when to send tab on inserted or updated when the assigned to is not empty, and when the assigned to changes. So that'll capture both brand new records or if the assigned to changes on an existing record. All right, on the when to send, or excuse me, on the who will receive tab, we'll go ahead and select our assigned to field. And what to send is going to be the push message that we just defined. So go ahead and select that. Select chore assignment. And then we'll go ahead and hit submit. Okay, now that our notification is set up, we need to make sure that the users subscribe to it. By default, they will not be subscribed to our new notifications. So what I'm going to do is go into users, and I'm going to select the Aaron account, and then I'm going to choose notification preferences and choose chores. And here's the notification we just set up. And here's the ServiceNow mobile app that has been registered under that account. I'm going to go ahead and turn that notification on. And now we're ready to go ahead and test it. Okay, let's go ahead and test this out. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new chore record. We'll assign it to the Aaron account. Choose a category. And and choose Save. And now within about a minute, we should get a notification on the right-hand side of the screen on my iOS device. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the message on my iOS device. That'll bring us straight into that particular record. I'm tapping on the header. And then I'm going to go ahead and change the state. I'm going to set it to work in progress. Save that. And you can see on the left-hand side of the screen there, the state did update. And we can see the earn account modified it. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. Mark it closed. Save it again. There we go. Now, since we're here, I wanted to show you a couple things that I really like about the mobile client. We can go ahead and back up to our main menu. So we are on favorites on my mobile device. I created this favorite on the normal interface using the earn account. It's just a list of open chores. So if I tap on it, we get the only other chore that's actually open right now. So let's do this. I'm going to open another chore over here. And for good measure, let's go ahead and open one more. Okay. Now over on my mobile client, I'm going to go ahead and tap and hold on the open chores favorite. And that brings up the little favorites editor. We can do some basic things like change the icon or the color, change the name of it by just tapping on the title field. But I'm going to go ahead and click on visualizations. And right now it's just a favorite, right? It doesn't show us anything other than what we just saw. What I really like are the count widget. So if we go ahead and save that, it shows us how many open chores we have. If I tap and hold on again, choose the bar chart widget, and then choose category, and save that. We get a nice little graph per category of what's open. Just wanted to share those with you. I really love that feature about it. Now if I hit the home button on my iOS device and go back to my home page here, if I tap and hold on an iOS device anyway, if I tap and hold on the ServiceNow icon, we get a list of those favorites that we have. I only have the one favorite set up, but again, if I just tap on that favorite, it'll bring us right into that list of open chores. So there are many more things that we can do to improve upon our application now that we've built some basic structure around it, such as maybe adding some more modules, doing the auto assignment that we talked about early on in the video. I'm open to suggestions, so please leave any in the comments. So that concludes the first iteration of our ChoresZero application. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please tune in again for future revisions of the application where we add functionality to it. And please comment, like, subscribe, and we hope to see you again real soon. Thank you.